Good evening. Before I make my remarks, I'd like to just be a little bit transparent in here with regards to the bills that you had in front of you. First of all, I commend the governor and many who have put these laws up for discussion. I have not read them all. I can only assume that they're going to be very similar to what Connecticut has passed recently and have those same kind of discussions that Connecticut went through for the last 2 or 3 months after Newtown. So if you ask some questions about the law that you have in front of you, I may not be very familiar with what you are seeking some information on. Secondly, as far as the investigation in Newtown, I will be very reluctant to answer some questions with regards to that. I can speak to the some of the information that has been actually put into the media and released from our Connecticut State Police, who are conducting the investigation. So I just wanted to just preface my remarks before I really speak tonight. It's an honor to speak before this body. I am Chief Mike Kehoe of the Newtown Police Department with 34 years of law enforcement experience. I was a first responder in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. I believe this legislature is dedicated and committed to finding the appropriate answers and responses, as was Connecticut legislature. Both missions should be that tragedies felt by Newtown, Connecticut, and other communities is not repeated so often. And my firm belief that if enough is not done, we will see this scene repeated in our communities. Research shows that the United States leads all countries in mass murders by a wide, very wide margin. I implore you not to be misguided by the many who will claim, rightfully or wrongfully, that we cannot and should not diminish or reduce rights afforded under law. We have become a society tied to entitlements. Our laws and policies afford us immense degree of satisfactions with privileges and freedoms many other societies do not have. However, when these freedoms are the cause of enormous pain Americans have felt over the past several years with so many mass murders and so many indiscriminate murders within our cities, then this is a time to sacrifice these portions of these entitlements to change the culture of our society. If violence in society is the real problem, and I believe it is, then what are the root causes and how do we fix them? All too often, society's answer to conflict and uncertainty is to be violent. From military-style weapons, general gun use in urban areas, neighborhood disputes gone bad, various violent-related shows and games, and families unable to cope and understand the complexities of raising healthy families, to name a few. These factors help breed a culture of violence. We need to do as much as possible to reduce the easy access to weapons of mass murder. I believe all levels of governments must strengthen the whole prohibition of military assault weapons that many of our citizens enjoy legally and without harm to our society. This sacrifice is necessary and warranted. We know that the shooter in Newtown used a military assault rifle to murder all 26 persons in Sandy Hook Elementary School. These weapons are made to have the most severe amount of impact and damage to a person's body. When struck by a bullet from these weapons, the injuries to persons are severe and catastrophic, most times leading to death if struck in the major areas of a body. The mass murder in Newtown was efficiently carried out because of the AR-15 and the clips used, which held 30 rounds of .223 ammunition. Evidence released shows that the shooter brought with him 10 30-round clips with plenty of ammunition to continue shooting throughout the school if not stopped. One reason this rifle is so effective is because of the action of once the bullet enters the body. The bullet tumbles, causing it to fragment into 2 or more pieces, These fragments zigzag through the body. An entry wound in the shoulder may exit in the middle of the spine. A typical entry wound is the size of a pencil, while the exit wound can be the size of a fist. This weapon also has very little kickback, that even a child can fire it. When fired, the muzzle rises less than an inch, which makes it very accurate when emptying a 10-round clip. We truly need to limit large capacity ammunition clips. They may serve a purpose on gun ranges, but have no rational, common sense meaning when protecting ourselves. Evidence released portrays that the shooter used his weapon of choice solely at San Diego Elementary School, shooting it 154 times in less than 5 minutes to gain entry into a locked school and kill 20 school children and 6 adults. It is crystal clear that precious seconds used to reload, to confront others, to violently enter the school to seek out victims, saved precious lives. It is also crystal clear that law enforcement's quick response and appearance at the school saved lives also. I again believe this legislature is dedicated and committed to finding the appropriate answers and responses to safeguarding your citizens. I wish you the best on your journey for changes, and remind you that tragedies felt by Newtown, Connecticut, and other communities can be repeated if affirmative action is not taken. Thank you so much for listening to me tonight.